Well, here you are back again on Night Sounds, and it's a pleasure. Joe and myself are bringing to the show Tom LeFlore.
Hey,
Hey man, thanks for completing our sandwich today. You're the meat in our mostly bread sandwich, so we appreciate it.
I can see, yeah.
Something like that.
So how are things, man? You got a new album coming out in November. You got a couple of singles already released already, and life is great right now. I should hope.
Yeah, actually, things are kind of turning up. I just got my first 2 singles out, which is a big deal for me, just to have a Spotify presence and be active in the music world, releasing music. Because it hasn't been like that for maybe like a year or so. After the band, I hadn't put out any music, so I'm out there. I'm putting out songs, and the first 2 singles are like leading up to this album that I'm dropping probably like end of November.
Cool. Okay, well, so you mentioned it. You started in a band. Now you're going solo. So like, give us the evolution of that. Like, how did that start? And did you guys break up during COVID and then you decided to go solo? Like, give us the background.
Yeah. So I started the band with a couple friends back in 2015, probably 2015, and we did that for a long time, many years. We signed with Universal Music. We toured the country several times. We recorded with Matt Wallace and Joe Ciccarelli at Sunset Sound. So we kind of did some big things. And we put out during COVID, all of our touring got shut down, and that wasn't the reason, but that definitely put some strain on the band. But we ended up self-producing the last album, and when we put that out, it was kind of like this big push, and it just took a lot on us. And so by the end of it, we decided to just split up and go our separate ways. And for probably 6 months or a year, I didn't know, I was making music for myself, but I didn't really know if I had anything to say as a solo artist, if that makes sense. I was just making stuff that wasn't going to go anywhere. And I couldn't find my sound, or I was I'd make a Rufus Du Sol song and be like, is that me? And then I'd make a John Mayer song and be like, that's not it. I don't know. It was just kind of all over the place. And so it took a long time for me to finally lock in on what I thought I was at the core in terms of the stuff that I wanted to make. And then I started to kind of refine a couple songs and build out the aesthetic for what I wanted Tom LeFlore to be and everything.
So how did you take the sound that you had with the band? How did you integrate some of the more new sounds, some of the synth stuff and all that? Was that something that you were doing before, something that you wanted to experiment with? How did you come to, because it's a really, I'm not gonna lie, it's a really unique sound, and it's new and it's different and it's fun. So how did you go ahead?
I think the sounds that are in there kind of just are inevitably just what I my experience is just in sound form almost. I grew up listening to classic rock, and the band was definitely rock and roll. So there's and I played guitar for 20 years or 25 years. So it's just inherently there's guitars all over the record. All the songs start with just me playing acoustic guitar in my bedroom. And then from there, especially with the end of the band, we were adding tons of synths and sound design stuff on the record, and I got pretty good at that. So it's just this combination of these acoustic guitars. I was really into, at the time when I was writing the record, I was really into Frank Ocean, Dominic Fike, and Dijon, which are almost R&B hip hop approaches. I feel on indie rock, less so Frank Ocean, but Dijon and Dominic Fike, I feel are doing indie rock through this R&B hip hop lens or something. So I was trying to do that in my own way, which being just a kind of a more traditional singer-songwriter ends up being something completely different, So it has kind of that, some songs have that polish and aesthetic through certain synths and certain guitar voicings even, and a little bit more jazzy than I would have probably played in the past. But it all kind of comes through this lens of I grew up with classic rock and then was in an indie rock band. So it has a little bit of that kind of baked in there somewhere.
Yeah. That's what I'm most excited for, because this is my favorite kind of music. I don't know what to call it. You're calling it lo-fi indie. I mean, downbeat, There's like downbeat, trip hop, ambient, like there's all these subcategories of this music. And I like where this is going with lo-fi indie. Are you finding that people, I mean, cause it's kind of a new genre. I mean, it's not really that new.
What would you call it? Like, cause I don't
know.
When I'm like writing like the pitch or whatever, I don't know what to call it.
I don't know either, man. That's the problem. I think you are on the right track with lo-fi indie because that fits in like the indie pop world that's heading toward mainstream, and it identifies you with like the lo-fi part of it. It's like, okay, we get that you're going to use synthesizers and the beat's going to be probably slower, you know, and more tech. So I don't know. I guess lo-fi indie is like the closest you can get to it, but it's so interesting to me that you can't like put a net over this kind of music. Like you can't trap it and put a label on it. Really.
Totally.
Well, so I think if you did that though, you would box people in. Like this is the time where Tom is experimenting and discovering new sounds for all of us. So that's great. Don't box him in, Barry. Let him experiment. Let him bring us new stuff.
Nah, it's not about that. You know. So, but you're an LA guy, right? Aren't you? Like you're from LA?
I'm originally from Orange County, but I've lived in LA now for like I think 12 years probably now.
So like what's that mean?
Fullerton. Where are you from? Where are you from? Yeah. I'm from Fullerton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm from Newport Beach in Orange County.
Oh, hey, okay. What street did you hang out on? Because we hung out on 50th.
Yeah. I think I spent a lot of time on like 36th Street. Actually.
There you go. See, everybody had a street. They all went to the same street every single time.
Huh. How about that?
That's actually funny now that I'm thinking about it. But I grew up there, and actually a couple of guys from the band I went to high school with, and then like we practiced at where was that? You know the Guitar Center off the 405. I'm trying to think of the exit.
Pico? Is it
I want to say Euclid or something. Euclid? I want to say it was like Euclid or something. There's like Guitar Center.
Oh, you're talking like down there, like Torrance area. Gotcha.
Yeah. We had a lockout studio there, and we practiced there for like, man, in like three years probably. The first 3 years of the band, we practiced out of there. And we played cover shows. Did you play the guitar riff from Stairway to Heaven? Did you get kicked out? No. But we'd play like the Blue Beat on the Peninsula. Do you know the Blue Beat? Yeah. That's like how we started, was like playing 4-hour cover shows at the Blue Beat. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So your album's coming out. Let's talk about like the reception. That's the right word, right, Joe? Reception?
Yes.
It took me like 25 interviews to find that word, reception. I've been like, so how's it been going so far with your album and stuff?
Yeah.
How's the critical response and the reception for the first couple?
Yeah, it's been really good, especially because like transferring to like a new project, you know, it's like you have zero footprint. I don't have like any articles or like anything out there about myself. So just getting press on like the first single was hard, but it was like easier than I thought, honestly, it'd be. And I think people just like generally was like, we're like interested in it. And then the second song was even easier. Where again, like I'm definitely at like the very, very bottom of the totem pole in terms of like new indie artists. So it's been great to like see people excited about the music, even, you know, after a month or two of it being out. And then a lot of the followers of the band have transitioned over honestly pretty well. Like it's definitely a different sound, but I think people are just genuinely interested in like that kind of music. You know, it's just kind of like indie, whatever, like indie adjacent, like indie rock, indie bedroom, indie lo-fi, all that stuff kind of fits in the same box. So and even like the friends and family have been like supportive, so it's good so far. Yeah,
that's nice.
So what about the monetarily side of it? How do you make money with, because this is so available, but it's so hard to search and find the lo-fi.
What are you talking about? He's made 25 cents off Spotify. I mean, not enough.
Yeah.
Well, I just wonder if you subcategorize yourself like this, do you make this like, is it more beneficial for you? Because Might be. I don't know.
I don't know if I could say that it's beneficial, because kind of like we were saying at the beginning, it's like it is hard to categorize. So if I was just like, oh, I just do blues rock, it's like Spotify probably would be able to like put me in a category pretty easily. But I don't really know. It's like singer-songwriter, bedroom pop, indie, lo-fi. Like, I don't know what it is. So I would say that it doesn't help doing that. But at the same time, you almost like don't have any option. It's not like I'm going to be writing the song and like want to put like this sound in and be like, oh wait, that's going to take me out of like this genre. Like, you almost have to produce and write in this like vacuum of what it's going to end up being, and just follow like the flow and the impulse and the song and where it takes you. And so all that being said, like, yeah, you have to make the music for what it is. I wouldn't say that it's like helping being like super lo-fi indie or whatever, right. But yeah, like I mean, and there's no like monetary value in it right now. It's like just strict, like, you know, you just, again, like you said, the streams probably could pay for like the electricity that we've already gone through on this.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. So,
but the one thing from Spotify though, are you already getting any data about like demographics and stuff? I mean, because that's the one thing that you get. You might not make a ton of money, but you get a lot of good marketing data, so you can see like where to put your effort.
There you go. Here comes the data guy, always chiming in.
No, totally. You get like, it's honestly pretty cool because you can also see like the source of streams. You can see the different playlists and stuff.
What has surprised you in that?
Actually, a couple of like just the UGC playlists of friends or like friends of like 1 degree of separation that I'm not like super close with, but people that are putting music on their playlist that get like, you know, even if it's 50 streams because they have like 50 followers or something on Spotify, it's like those numbers add up when you look at the whole, like, because I've gotten on some bigger playlists and I have to check because I got on one with like 200,000 likes.
Nice.
Which is like an editorial level. But I got that like maybe 4 or 5 days ago on the first song. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to like, you know, boost the numbers. But like, I'm pretty sure it's been like 100 or 200 streams just from that. So it's like those UGC playlists, those playlists like you don't, like the smaller kind of sleeper ones, I think they add up more than people expect that they would.
I love that we're talking to you right now at this stage, because like 4 or 5 days ago, you got 2,000 hits. I love it. Yeah. And all this is just coming out right now. And I don't think that this is the end for you, Thomas. I think...
What? Why do you have to formal name him, man? Thomas. You don't like, what, are you going to middle name him next? Come on.
I think we are. Isn't your middle name LeFlore?
That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so we are. We've been doing that.
The full name is Thomas LeFlore Hunter. And I go by like Tom Hunter to all my friends, but I was like, that kind of sounds like I'm opening for like Luke Bryant or like, it sounds like, so, like if I was like Tom Hunter's new song, you'd be like, okay, it's probably country.
You're like, oh wow, Austin City Limits, here we come.
Now we think you're French or something.
Yeah, it kind of contributes to the whole vibe of the music.
It does. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think this is the end for you, Mr. Hunter. I think that you're crossing genres. Are you going to pull this off? Like, you're going to go through lo-fi indie and then encroach upon another genre of music?
I think so. That's actually a good question, because as the stuff that I'm writing in my mind for like the beginning of next year is definitely different. It's a little bit more, I would say, like immediate and just like a little, like, I wouldn't even say high energy, but just like, I'm thinking a little bit more about like how I can, I'm refraining from the word like hook or something, but just like, I'm trying to definitely hit like a vein where I can make that like the sound more mainstream. And I'm even playing around with just like kind of edgier sounds, like more distorted vocals. Like I would even say some like, again, I'm not like Kanye production, just in the terms of just like kind of some harder hitting beats and stuff, but then like still kind of like a smoother, like slower voice over it. And so, yeah, I haven't landed it yet, but like the stuff that I'm making that would come out at the beginning of next year, I'm like pretty excited about, because that's like even more different and weird, I think. So
yeah,
it's gonna be like skate punk with Wiz Khalifa on vocals. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Tom, we can't be more excited for your success. I'm supposed to play a song now, and I can't pick the one that I want to pick. Which one should I pick?
Well, Dan, what are you feeling right now? Are you feeling like It's the morning. Maybe Lie That You Love Me, I feel like is kind of a morning vibe.
What if you were to
leave me, if you were to leave me, it's kind of like nighttime driving vibe.
Oh man, can we play them both? I want to play them both. That's how lo-fi is, man. You can play like 12 of them in a row and then lose time and be like, "Oh my god, it's Thursday." You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's play them both. But can you tell us about them?
Sure. Which one do you want to play first?
The morning one.
The morning
one,
obviously.
The morning one. Yeah, this one actually, it's funny. I wrote it like literally in this room exactly where I'm sitting, and like recorded the vocals like where I'm sitting. Yeah, which is pretty fun. And then I ended up getting a studio with a couple guys. So now the stuff I make is not in my bedroom, but for bedroom record, I literally made the entire thing in my bedroom.
Nice.
But I think I had this guitar beat. I heard like a Steve Lacy song, and there was this like really kind of like weird out of tune guitar with this drum beat over it, and I was like, oh my god, I have to do something like that. And I wrote that guitar loop drum beat, and then had it for like a month or two. And it was like too slow. Like every time I tried to write on it, I like wasn't feeling it. And then one day I just sped it up like significantly, and then I just immediately sang that chorus. And then built the whole song after that. But like it was also during a time when I was trying to like figure out where I was with this girl in this relationship thing.
It's always a girl. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, I was like, I feel like it'd just be better if she just like lied that she like loved me or whatever. And then that like chorus just came out, and then I like back wrote like the whole verse and pre-chorus and everything to that. And then I wanted like a guitar solo, or I wanted like an instrumental break, but I didn't want it to be like a traditional guitar solo. So I just remember looping that part and like playing everything like I wouldn't normally play. I was like trying to play like on the offbeat and just like weird notes and like pull the timing and just like
grab the sample.
Yeah, like I was just trying to like be weird with the guitar part. And then like I did some like I just kind of like messed around with it after, like reversed some sections and tried to like make it affected and just kind of take it out of like the world of guitar solo, you know, even though like it literally is a guitar solo part.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then tell us about the Nightimer one.
The Nightimer one was actually like the first song that I wrote where I was like, oh, I wouldn't like die if this got released. I probably wrote like 50 songs. And I was just like, no. And they were like just so basic. And then I finally got to this one and I was like, oh, okay. Again, like I wouldn't be crushed if like my friends heard this song for the first time, you know?
That's like when Barry and I started podcasting. We did hundreds of these, and they were like, "Oh, this one's okay. We can release it. Now we can start releasing stuff."
It's so tough, man. That first hump, but
it's just about getting that like that volume. It's just about getting a couple under your feet, so you're like comfortable, and then you're in the sweet spot where you can like make good stuff. But that one I just wrote. I think I just had like the melody come to my head when I was driving, and like I think I literally have a video of me just singing that melody in the car, and then coming home, figuring out a guitar, building out the song. And that's more like generalized, I think, in like, if you were to leave me, like kind of in any context, like what would you do without that person or that security, whether it could be like a job, or for me, it was like a combination of like the band and like all this stuff that like I built this identity around and like knew, or I thought was like in my life, like certain, you know? And then when you don't have that, like, who are you without that? And like, it's definitely like kind of a sad, like kind of musing, just like, what am I going to do song? But that's exactly where I was at that point. So like, I listen back and I'm like, damn, I sound sad, but I was sad. So it's okay.
That's where music comes in handy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Well, Tom, we love you so much. We'd love to have you back at the end of this when you have 20,000 clicks.
We didn't even get to any of the other cool stuff that he does. Like, we didn't talk about any of his NFT stuff. We didn't talk about any of his programming. We're going to definitely have to have him back. I got questions, Barry. I got questions.
Yeah,
Wide open door.
A lot to go over.
Yeah, man.
A lot to go over.
Okay. Well, next time then.
Yeah, man. Well, great success, Tom LeFlore. Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.